What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock and what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to break down some very important deliveries numbers that just came out for NIO and what they mean for the company going forward, and whether or not NIO is about to see some bullish price action because of how well NIO did for the month of February. Now, before I break anything down about that, before I get into any more details, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Make sure you take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NEO community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Mumu link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Mumu, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you're guaranteed 7 free stocks. And out of those 7 free stocks, 5 could be a free NIO share. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends in just 4 weeks. Make sure you check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So anyways, NIO is up 5.28% for the day. We had a very, very nice bullish move from the downtrend that NIO was on for quite a while. And that was after NIO's delivery numbers just came out and also after the market started to squeeze a bit. So why did the market end up squeezing? That's the first question on a lot of people's minds. A lot of it has to do with what the Fed just said. Bostic from the Fed is saying that he's in the 25 basis point rate hike camp. And also, he mentioned the fact that the Fed may pause very soon. I find myself disagreeing with this because I believe that no Fed speaker should basically, be in the 25 basis point camp or anything like that. Even if this is fueling the markets and their buddies out there from Wall Street that are making more money off of this, the hype and etc. I don't think it's intelligent, right, or the right thing to do during a time like this because CPI is coming out and just 11 days. And if the Fed is saying, oh, we're going to not raise rates that much, things are okay. And then all of a sudden, let's just say CPI comes out super hot again, they're really going to have egg on their face. All right. That's really the bottom line. Jerome Powell, the guy kept saying disinflation, 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 and yet CPI, PPI, and the PCE inflationary report were very hot. It's almost as if the market forgot all of that, and the market is just looking at the good things the Fed said, and they're just choosing to rally off of that. It's also because of market maker manipulation of the derivatives market and the options chains right now, causing a squeeze to hurt shorts, and also for them to make a lot more money in the process, right? That's exactly what's happening right now. That's part of it. And that's why algos are buying a lot more. And because we've broken certain resistance levels, such as 400 on SPY, algos have been buying like crazy. And we're likely going to see that continue. But just remember, even though we're pumping, we have March 14th CPI. That could change everything. Followed by March 22nd, we have the FOMC meeting. Once again, that all could change everything for the rally, and the odds are favoring that potentially happening. Now, I also want to note that we had some bullish news from Apple. Apple's going to be building a $700 million iPhone plant in India, once again swaying away from a solely, or not solely, but mainly depending on China. This is very, very good news for them. This helped Apple pump, which helped SPY and the whole market pump. The real question is, what about NIO? Yes, this helped NIO pump 5%, but it wasn't solely just that factor because ever since March started, I know NIO did not have the best of earnings. That caused NIO to drop from 9.5 all the way down to 8.3, but we have seen a bit of a bounce off NIO, and now we're on the verge of getting an MACD crossover to the upside, and also RSI is improving a bit. NIO's strength is actually improving. Now, as far as the EMAs go on the daily, so far they're well apart, which shows how much NIO is undervalued compared to where it was in the past. But I do believe that NIO has some potential to try to keep going if we do end up getting this crossover. And I do think NIO could try to get to about $10 after the deliveries report that just came out. So yes, NIO's earnings weren't the best, but after earnings, NIO's deliveries came out for the month of February, and NIO actually did quite well. It wasn't their best month ever, but overall, I would say it's quite well. This is from NIO's official website. We could see right here they delivered about 12,157 vehicles in February. That's 5,000 smart SUVs and 7,000 plus sedans, right? The majority of them are actually sedans. That's a 43% increase month over month, 98% increase year on year growth. Let's go. And on top of that, between January and February, they actually delivered over 20,000 vehicles. Once again, very impressive, but I do want to see them do even better than that as time goes on. In total, we have 310,219 vehicles delivered. Let's go. That's some very, very good news overall. And I do want to note that it's good because of the long term. For the long term, I'm still very bullish seeing the growth in this company. And for February, NIO announced that 1,000 new battery swap stations were built in China, or I'm sorry, they were to be built in China, right? In total, giving us more than 2,300 stations. Of the 1,000 new stations, 600 will be deployed in urban areas and also in other cities as well. So very, very happy for NIO. If you look at their numbers next to one another, let me try to open this in a new tab. I don't know if this is going to be bigger. Uh, if I hope you guys could see this. I know the colors are kind of light, but this is the way NIO put this on their website. This is 2022, obviously a bit of a decrease compared to 2023. So right here, there's a decrease right here in 2023 compared to that year. And this was because of Lunar New Year and also because of demand shifts in China. We saw something very similar happen all around. But once again, big improvement compared to last February. February of 2022 had Lunar New Year, and that did slow them down a lot more. But this time they've done like almost twice as many deliveries compared to that time. But if you add everything up, okay, for January to February of 2022, NIO did a little over 15,000 deliveries. For this year, they've done over 20,000. So that's a pretty nice increase by over 33% so far. And now that NIO is working on NIO Park to improve their facilities, I could see them improving even more from that end. Look at their monthly deliveries all in all. You could see the green ones are 2022, and you will notice that there were some months where they actually did a little bit better, but this is actually one of their best months we've seen of all time for NIO. One of their top 3 or 4 months, their fourth best month of all time was just in February. The exception would be like in June of 2022 when they had a big backlog because of the lockdowns, and they finally improved after the bad numbers from April and May of that year because of the lockdowns once again. But besides June and then like the end of the year when demand goes up like crazy, November, December, besides these three peaks, this was their best deliveries yet. And we're likely going to see even better numbers for March. That tends to be a good time of the year for them. April may be a little slow. This did happen before. We did actually see some slowdowns historically. Maybe NIO is going to do even better this year, especially in May. I think June's going to be strong for NIO. July would be pretty good. September should be pretty strong. October should be pretty decent. And then November and December should be very strong too for them. Looking at some more data, once again, uh, we're actually seeing. Actually, I think I went over most of this, but you can see right here, NIO is actually working on different models which have different capabilities. We can also see that they have the NT 2.0 platform, and with these platforms, they're actually going to give better cockpit experiences with better driving capabilities. So I consider this once again bullish news. I know earnings wasn't the best for NIO after bigger losses than expected, and also because their margins were not the best, right? That's something that we don't want to see from a lot of EVs. Margins tend to be very difficult for them to actually achieve profitability. But I do believe NIO is on a good path. As long as we continue to grow on these deliveries and we actually maintain and improve our margins, things could improve big time. We just have to be very careful. I do believe that there could be more pain for this year and maybe even parts of next year, maybe during like certain periods of time, maybe not every single quarter, but just for some of them. But I also believe that despite that, NIO still has a lot of improvements coming, and I still believe there's lots of growth, and that still makes me very, very bullish for NIO. When NIO tends to have strong deliveries, we do tend to see the share price improve in price action, and that actually started ever since the 2nd of March. I do believe NIO is going to go for this gap fill, try to get all the way up to about this the high nines, and eventually it might try to break to $10. So is it about to squeeze? I wouldn't say it's about to squeeze, but I do think there's going to be an improvement in the price action. And I do believe that the deliveries it just reported are going to help it temporarily. Now, if the whole market squeezes and rallies, that's awesome and all, but just remember, okay, just don't forget CPI is coming out on the 14th, and this could change everything. Not to mention the FOMC meeting on the 22nd. All right, so I hope you guys are ready for that. Until then, congratulations, NIO. Pretty good numbers for February. Thank you for listening. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you guys in the next one. NIO to the moon because the long term future is still incredibly bright, and peace out.